Hello world and hello Philippines. For today's lesson video, we're going to discuss about social and emotional literacy. Social and emotional literacy is vital for students because it teaches them crucial life skills, including the ability to understand themselves, develop a positive self-image, take responsibility for their actions, and forge relationships with the people around them. Let's have our expected learning outcomes for this lesson. Today, we're going to have, of course, the following outcomes. The first is discuss social literacy and the roles of parents and teachers in teaching social skills to children. We have established a clear understanding of the working definitions of social and emotional literacy, explain the role of parents and teachers in teaching social skills to children, identify the five key areas or the core competencies that make up social emotional learning, and the last is discuss and examine social issues or issues in social and emotional literacy. Probably you will be wondering what is social literacy, but let's have first, of course, these things about social and emotional literacy from Durack et al. 2021. And it says it can improve, of course, positive attitudes towards self and others and increase students' academic performance by 11 percentile points. So imagine if, of course, our children have very high social and emotional learning. Probably, of course, they have good performance in class. Let's define what is social literacy. Okay. It implies, of course, a level of skill in being able to form respectful relationships. Social literacy implies, of course, learning that about the give and take of interacting with others, meaning there is interaction, okay, between, of course, the students opposing and the teachers, or, of course, both students or any individuals for that matter. And then we have it includes, of course, the delicate, delightful, and sometimes very painful cadence of sharing with others and allowing them to be real to us. And that's beyond stereotypes and labels, and beyond, of course, simply being a means to fulfill our own needs. However, of course, emotional literacy, okay, implies a certain level of skill in reading emotions, recognizing and, of course, interpreting our own feelings and those of others at a level appropriate for age. And it implies learning about the rhythms of emotion. In other words, learning some skills for navigating the ups and downs of emotions at play within oneself. And it is about learning to manage the powerful full rather of what we want and don't want, and negotiating with others as we bump up against their needs and wants. Social emotional learning is, of course, the process of developing and using social and emotional skills. Again, when we say social emotional learning, it is the process of developing and using social and emotional skills. It's the skill set that we use to cope with feelings, set goals, make decisions, and get along with and feel empathy for others. And probably you might hear cell or social emotional learning as referred to as the social emotional learning, and of course, social emotional literacy. So it goes hand in hand. And take note, people with strong social emotional skills are better equipped to manage daily challenges, build up relationships, and of course, make informed decisions. Cell, of course, or social emotional learning helps students and adults thrive in school and in life. That's very good to know. Okay, that the social emotional learning, okay, can help us, even professionals, students, of course, and the adults to thrive or to be successful in life. Okay, not just in school. There are actually five key areas or core competencies that make up the cell. Okay, from of course the collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning. Okay, or from CASEL. So these are the five. We have of course the self-awareness, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness, and of course self-management. Let's have first the self-awareness is number one. It's about understanding your emotions and thoughts and how they influence your behavior. And the skills included here are identifying emotions, self perception, recognizing strengths, self confidence, and of course, self efficacy. When we say self efficacy, it is the belief in your ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplishment of the task. So we need to have self-efficacy, or we need to have these words in order to succeed in whatever, of course, endeavors and even our dreams in life. That's self-awareness is number one. Let's have, of course, the second. So the second one is self-management. It is the ability to regulate your emotions and behaviors in different situations and to set, of course, and work towards the goal. The question is, do you have self-management? Okay, what are the skills included? Of course, we have executive rather function and self-regulation, even stress management. How do we, of course, manage our stress? Okay, and self-discipline. Do we have self-discipline? Self-discipline, of course, is very important. Okay, let's discuss what is executive function and self-regulation. These are actually mental processes that enable us to plan, focus attention, remember instructions, and juggle, okay, multiple tasks successfully. So we need to have, of course, very good executive function, and we need to have self-regulation in order to thrive and, of course, succeed. Okay, well, of course, number three is responsible decision making. It's the ability to make positive choices and take responsibility for, of course, positive and negative outcomes. We need to, of course, to be responsible in what we are, of course, having or doing. So the skills that include here, okay, are the following. We need to identify, of course, the problems. After identifying, we need to analyze the situation. Okay, and then, of course, solve the problem. And the last, which is very probably vital or necessary, is reflection. The fourth is social awareness. It's the ability to take the perspective and, of course, of and empathize with others. So the skills that are included there is empathy, okay, appreciating differences, and of course, respect. So these three things that we can have are very important. Like, for example, we need to appreciate the differences of each other. Okay, of course, having, of course, the respect is having, valuing someone. Okay, and of course, the empathy that we have. Then the fifth one is the relationship skills. So it is the ability to establish and maintain healthy and meaningful relationships, okay, with others. The question is, how do we really maintain our healthy and meaningful relationship with others? So these actually involves the following skills. So the first one is communicating clearly. Do we communicate clearly? Can we be understood by others? Okay, listening. Okay, do we listen? Cooperation, resisting, of course, negative pressure. Some of us cannot, of course, resist negative pressure. Okay, then of course, resolving conflicts, and of course, supporting one another. Do we support one another? Do we support our classmates, or do we support our friends? So that's the questions with, of course, relationship skills. The next is we have, of course, the research findings, okay, that shows that social emotional learning instruction can lead to, the first one is fewer disciplinary incidents, okay, and it probably talks about the school. The second one is improved test scores and grades. Then we have, of course, increase, okay, in school attendance. Of course, students wanted to go to school and, of course, participate in any event if they have, of course, high social emotional learning. Okay, and of course, the last is less emotional distress. So it's very nice to have these four findings. Okay, of course, having social emotional learning. Okay, let's have the four ways to teach social emotional literacy. Okay, the first, take a look with the picture. The picture would, of course, tell us that these students are really happy in school, having, of course, social emotional literacy, which is high. Okay, that's the first way, is to create and promote supportive classrooms. The second one is, of course, develop strong and positive interpersonal relationships, and of course, instill a sense of control. And the last is build student confidence. So these are the four ways to teach social emotional literacy among our students. Okay, let's discuss further what is emotional literacy. So having, of course, the emotional literacy, our first, of course, step to developing, of course, empathy is through, of course, our emotional literacy. Or, of course, the ability, when we say, of course, emotional literacy, it's the ability to read or recognize your own or our own emotions, and of course, the emotions of others. Okay, so that, of course, you can figure out what they are feeling. And it's very nice. Then we have, of course, emotional literacy. It is noticing what other people are feeling. Okay, by, of course, tuning in to what other people are feeling, okay, you have accomplished the first step towards developing empathy. Another is, according to Borba and lots of other researchers, this emotional literacy is associated with children who are smarter. Take note, children who are smarter, richer, or nicer rather, happier and more resilient. And kids who are better adjusted emotionally are more popular and outgoing, of course. Okay, as kids or probably as students, we wanted to become outgoing. So we need to have, of course, very high emotional literacy. Okay, why is emotionally literacy difficult? So here are some answers with that question. The first is we are constantly plugged in. Okay, emotional literacy skills require, of course, face-to-face reciprocal interactions to develop. Our expectations for boys and girls differ. Do you agree? Yes. Because of our social gender norms, there is the belief that boys and men should not express their emotions as it makes them too feminine, okay, less manly or weak. Okay, so in line with that belief, we tend to talk more about emotional experiences with girls than with, of course, boys. As a result, girls tend to be better at tuning in. Another reason is that we are very busy and distracted. So Borna says each swipe and type means less talking with, next to or face to face with our kids, and means empathy, building opportunity. And of course, well, like it or not, technology can be part of the problem. So it's not always technology that is the culprit. However, sometimes it's our workload schedule or the ever other constant struggle to keep things balanced and everyone happy. So we need to, of course, devote our time, okay, particularly with the kids or our students. Borba actually identified the four steps to tuning into, of course, the feelings. The first one is we need to stop and tune in. Okay, we need to connect with your child or with our students on an emotional level. move past the distractions and actually intentionally, okay, and fully connect with your child each and every day. The second one is look face to face. So the first step to good communication is eye contact. We need to have eye contact. Get down on your child's level and show them you are interested and invested by using, of course, good eye contact. The third one is, of course, focus on feelings. Children need to learn not only are feelings important, but how to express those feelings. So we need to give them good words to use, like statements, or statements rather. So for example, I feel you when you are happy, when you are sad. Okay, so that's the I statement. Okay, then the fourth one is express the feeling. So before children have developed their emotional vocabulary, you will need to help them express their feelings. So there should be, of course, expression of the feelings. Again, we have the four, okay, steps to tuning into feelings. The first one is stop and tune in. The second is look face to face. The third is we have focus on feelings, and the fourth is express the feelings. Okay, let's go to the fundamental principles in relating with others according to Alata and Ignacio. Okay, in 2019. Okay, so the first principle that we need to have is, of course, greeting. So the first step in a social interaction is greeting someone, saying good morning, good afternoon, hello, hi. So it is done with facial expressions, tone of voice, and of course, gestures such as a nod or a wave. That's a very nice greeting. Okay, then the second one is initiating conversations. So a child must be able to initiate, maintain, and close conversation appropriately. Children have to listen as well as talk. Okay, so if they can talk, they need to listen. Okay, next we have also understanding the listener. Okay, a socially adept child quickly and unconsciously, of course, identifies and categorizes his listener. And it is important to understand the audience one is talking to. So once a conversation is initiated, it has to be maintained. Then number four is, of course, empathizing. So empathy is more than perspective taking. Take note, it means that one is able to feel what other person feels. Empathy allows, of course, one to really connect with other people, and other children often think of children who lack empathy as mean, okay, unkind, and of course, self-centered. Okay, then the fifth one is reading social cues. Okay, or reading social cues rather. Cues are, of course, the hints and signals that, of course, guides us to be the next thing, okay, to say or do. Social cues can be verbal and non-verbal. So when we say verbal words, okay, these are cues that other person is saying. And we have also the tone of voice, which is very important part of the verbal cues, probably the high and falling, or probably the high and the low tone, okay, or pitch of the voice that we have. Then we have, of course, nonverbal. Communication is the transmission of messages or signals through a nonverbal platform, such as the eye contact, which is we discussed earlier. It's very important. Our facial expression, okay, our gestures, of course, the posture that we have, and the distance between two individuals. So it really matters. Okay, and of course, number six is sort of previewing or planning. So one previews or thinks that what effects the words or actions may have on listener before he or she says or does them. So if the impact will be, of course, negative, one can adjust what she might say or do. Okay, the fact that we are going to adjust and probably have a reflection at the end, okay, is a big factor. Okay, then we have, of course, problem solving, which is number seven. So problems and conflicts are often a part of social interaction. So whether we like it or not, there is, of course, problem. Someone may not agree, okay, probably get angry, insult, or become aggressive at something that one says. Okay, so how one reacts to these conflicts rather depends on how good, okay, her problem solving skills are. So we need to, of course, have problem solving skills. So turning a conflict from a win-lose situation to a win-win situation is the best way to resolve conflict. Okay, so I really, of course, agree with that, that we need to have, of course, a win-win situation or solution in resolving, of course, conflict. Okay, then we have, of course, apologizing. Okay, a person with good social skills is confident enough to make a sincere apology, okay, of her error. What's nice is, of course, how to say sorry. Okay. And apologizing is a sign of a humble and mature character when one commits mistakes. So we need to apologize, of course, if we have committed or done something wrong. Okay. Parents typically, of course, played a major role in teaching children social skills. So parents can directly teach social skills by, the first one is, of course, modeling. Of course, all of you will agree that modeling is really a good, okay, um, way on how we're going to teach social skills. The second one is role playing. Okay, role playing at home, okay, or wherever you are. Okay, if supposing no, you're parents, you need to have a good modeling and role playing. Then providing opportunities for their child to rehearse and practice new skills. Okay, schools is also the place where children spend majority of their time with peers. So it is therefore a natural and perfect setting for children, okay, to learn and practice social skills. So therefore, of course, teachers should, okay, number one, be alert of teasing and bullying. And then be aware of children that are ignored and rejected by their peers. So we need to become, of course, sensitive of the feelings, okay, or even actions of our students or children, okay, or learners. Work cooperatively with parents to prevent, of course, humiliation, embarrassment, and distress. And then identify and acknowledge the strength of the children. Okay, we need to know there, of course, the the positive characteristics, their strengths, no, what they can do, even probably, of course, their weaknesses. Then, of course, understand social weaknesses. Nobody's perfect. Always remember, and create an environment in which diversity is accepted and celebrated. So we need to have, of course, inclusion. Okay, we need to, of course, embrace diversity inside our classroom or probably in school. By doing so, take note, it enhances children's social abilities, even their sense of belongingness and self-esteem. Okay, not just in the classroom, but in life as well. So take note of that. Okay, actually, I like a sense of belongingness. Okay, it seems to be that you feel you belong in the group, in the class, probably, or in school. And even probably you will have high self-esteem, supposing you have, of course, this cell. Okay. And we have, of course, five strategies for incorporating social emotional learning, okay, into your classroom. So the first one is, of course, through mindfulness. Okay, mindfulness is, of course, paying attention, okay, in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. The second strategy is that clarify that thoughts leads to feelings. Okay, according to research, and it shows that students who are more resilient are more academically successful, like this one. And I believe, again, okay, research shows that students who are more resilient are more academically successful. And resilient students bounce back quicker and are mindful of their thinking and understand their beliefs, and importantly are able to challenge their beliefs and thoughts to create more positive outcomes. So take note, okay, we need to become, of course, a resilient student. Okay, then we have, of course, number three, okay, model persistence and, of course, determination. So a really important aspect of well-being and SEL is the ability to accomplish things in life. Many students, of course, naturally strive to better themselves in some way, whether they are, of course, seeking to master a skill, achieve a valuable goal, or win in some competitive event. And being mindful and challenging, okay, negative thoughts, students can be encouraged to dig deep to find, of course, to find the determination to succeed. Again, number 3 is model persistence and determination. Number 4 is listen with empathy. So put another way, listen to be surprised. And it's actually a part of a cell in is an understanding of the importance of positive relationships. Okay, we wanted to have, of course, good and positive relationships. To have these relationships, we need to have, and of course, to have and teach empathy. Okay, see, teachers have a wonderful ability to model empathy. Okay, and of course, it talks about the tone. Okay, and it really matters in teaching. So, with the tone of our voice, okay, there is probably an effect with, okay, our students or learners. Then the 5th one, which is the last, is emphasize gratitude. Gratitude is the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. That's gratitude. And research indicates that those who regularly express gratitude has more energy and enthusiasm, less stress, and better physical well-being. Again, research indicates that those who regularly express gratitude has more energy and enthusiasm. Okay, you are energetic and enthusiastic. Okay, we have less stress, and of course, we have better physical well-being. That's nice to know. Again, the 5 strategies for incorporating social emotional learning into your classrooms are the following. Number 1 is mindfulness. The second is clarify that thoughts leads to feelings. Okay, then third is model persistence and determination. The fourth is listen with empathy, and of course, the last is emphasize gratitude. Okay, so these okay, are, of course, the concepts and even the principles related to self or social and emotional literacy. Okay, for our references, you can see it here, even our attributions for the images and the photos. Okay, thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned something today. See you in another lecture video. God bless everybody.